Hello everyone, my name is Wilken, and in this video I will be discussing a study I conducted alongside Boden and Erik Maier on the effect of credit card versus mobile payments on convenience and consumers' willingness to pay. Imagine you are on your way to the beach. It's a hot sunny day, you are in high spirits and you are in the mood for a treat. You decide to stop at an ice cream shop before continuing your journey. When it comes time to pay for your order, the cashier says, "150 please." Do you pay with cash, card, or do you simply hold your phone close to the payment machine and wait for the beep? Which option would feel the most convenient to you? Previous studies have focused on comparing cash and credit or debit card payments. They have shown that using cards results in an increased consumer's willingness to pay. This is because the use of cards entails a lower pain of paying for the consumer. This term, pain of paying, refers to the displeasure a person experiences from the act of making a payment. For example, a consumer paying with a credit card feels lower pain of paying than if they were using cash. This is because when someone pays with a credit card, the actual transaction happens in the future, not when the item is purchased. This causes the actual payment to be mentally decoupled from the act of purchasing. Now, because most existing research on this subject has been conducted in the United States, results have been quite homogeneous in nature. They also have mostly failed to account for factors other than pain of paying that could influence willingness to pay. The study conducted by my colleagues and myself introduces mobile payments as a new means of payment. We also consider two other factors that could explain the difference in consumers' willingness to pay for different payment means. These factors are convenience and adoption level. So, what do we know about convenience? Previous research on mobile solutions in general has shown that increased convenience can result in increased willingness to pay. So, for example, if mobile payments are considered more convenient, retailers could incentivize this payment method in order to boost revenues, right? Well, there is a catch. In our study, we argue that higher willingness to pay for mobile payments will emerge only for consumers who have already adopted this technology. In other words, before a technology can be considered convenient, it must be adopted by the user. To test this, we conducted our studies in 3 different countries: Germany, India, and the United States. Each of these countries has different degrees of adoption of card and mobile payments. We established 3 hypotheses, which I will call H1, H2, and H3. In this figure, you can see an overview of our research model and the corresponding hypotheses. H1 states that the effectiveness of a payment method relies on its adoption level. This means that existing adoption increases convenience. H2 suggests that convenience of paying increases a consumer's willingness to pay. Finally, H3 is a combination of H1 and H2. It states that the effect that a payment method has on a consumer's willingness to pay depends on how convenient that method is. Additionally, the level of convenience increases when the payment method is adopted. So we conducted 3 studies. Study 1 and 2 compare United States and Germany, which are countries with low mobile payment adoption, to India, where mobile payment adoption rates are much higher. In the 3rd study, the purpose was to generalize our findings by including different price levels. Study number 1 involved Indian and US American participants, while the 2nd study involved Indian and German participants. It's important to highlight that at the time these studies were conducted, India had a mobile payment adoption rate of 29%. This was notably higher than the US, where only Apple Pay has exceeded 10%, and also much higher than Germany, where the average was just 4%. So, how did the studies work? We designed a hypothetical shopping experience as a survey where scenarios were similar to, for example, purchasing an Americano at a cafe or an ice cream at the beach. We randomly assign participants to either a credit card or mobile payment condition and ask an additional group to consider cash. Then we assess participants' willingness to pay, convenience, pain of paying, and adoption level for their assigned payment method by asking a question and having participants respond on a 5-point Likert scale. In study number 3, which was conducted in the US, we compared the effect of means of payment across different price levels. This time, participants encountered 2 low price scenarios and 2 high price scenarios. They were once again randomly assigned to a cash, credit, or mobile payment condition. Now, let's jump to a synthesis of the empirical results. The results support the various hypotheses. In particular, our studies showed that mobile payments, if adopted by an individual consumer, can be superior to other payment methods because they are considered more convenient. In other words, increased convenience has a positive effect on willingness to pay. However, a prerequisite for mobile payments to be considered highly convenient is that the consumer must have adopted this technology. Study number 1 showed this to be particularly true for consumers in India, where the adoption of mobile payment technology is quite advanced, as I mentioned before. Our results also established that pain of paying does not differ between mobile payments and card payments. However, this does not mean that willingness to pay would be the same for these 2 methods. Since convenience matters and adoption levels vary, we know that mobile payments can lead to a higher willingness to pay for those who have adopted the technology. Similarly, they can lead to a lower willingness to pay for those who haven't. So, what are the managerial implications of our findings? The good news is that everybody who wants to pay by mobile phone has already adopted the technology. To increase adoption, retailers can promote first-time mobile payments in stores. Additionally, they could also use means of paying to discriminate the price. We also recommend that country managers consider 2 things when deciding which payment technology to focus on. First, the average adoption rates of different payment technologies in their specific countries. And second, adoption forecasts. Additionally, since the adoption of mobile payment technology will likely increase in most countries, traditional payment service providers like Visa or MasterCard would do well to develop their own mobile payment apps. In fact, we expect some countries will likely leapfrog from cash directly to mobile payments, like India did. Finally, in countries with low adoption rates, retailers should foster adoption and emphasize the increased convenience of mobile payments. I really hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. So if you want to read the complete research paper, the link will be in the description below. And you can also access other research I have collaborated in through that same link. Thank you for watching.